something, I don't know. So.
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and get started. It's about 5 after 12, and welcome to our virtual office hours. My name is Regina Knox, and we have Sheila Plugger and Nell Stewart, who will hopefully rejoin us soon, and also have Kevin on today. He's our IT person, and so we always like to have our virtual office hours be an informal time where we can talk, we can address your needs. What we want to do is provide you with additional information and support to help you implement your programs, your activities. We just want to have a time to debrief and talk about what we're doing or what we can do better or not doing during our stay-at-home time. And I know that some states are opening up slowly, so we can discuss the reopening process as well. So we could start with short introduction so we can get an accurate roll call of who's on. If you could tell us your name, your county, and your favorite movie.
Well, good morning. This is Shirley Rogers. I'm in Macon County, Alabama. My favorite movie is The Color Purple. And I would like to share with you, just in case I get into some traffic and lose contact, that our group is going to do a teleconference exercise session. And the whole idea is to honor our VIPs, our visually impaired people in our group. So everybody is going to be essentially blind. It's like dining in the dark. So this is exercising in the dark. So that's our next project. And we're going to do it tonight, and we're going to do it again on first Thursday in June. So that should be pretty exciting, pretty fun.
I love that, Shirley, and thank you for sharing that. We talked about that prior to, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or so. We've gone back and looked at that. So I'm glad that you joined us and shared that with us.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Shirley.
Hi, I'm Tammy Pennington from Clay County, Kentucky, and I'm like Shirley, my favorite movie is The Color Purple.
Thanks, Tammy.
My name, excuse me, is Rita Jones, and I am from Franklin County in Kentucky, and I'm a part of the state diabetes prevention and control program, so I'm not affiliated with one local coalition or anything. And I'm going to have to say, I don't watch lots of movies, even when I'm sheltering in. I'm just not a big movie watcher, but my daughter, one of my daughters and I were having a long conversation the other day about her favorite movie when she was young. And so I'm going to choose that one. It was 101 Dalmatians. I must have watched that thing 300 times. And for her person who doesn't like movies, but, and you know, there's such some evil characters on there, but it ends up good in the end. So, and my daughter wanted to wear this Dalmatian shirt that she had t-shirt, and or she had a spotted puppy dress and some various things. Anyway, it was a battle all the time. She wanted to wear it constantly. Anyway, that's on my mind right now. So I'm going to say 101 Dalmatians is one of my favorite movies.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that movie too.
My name's Caitlin Davis. I'm from Wyoming County, West Virginia. Charlene will be joining me in just a few minutes. She had to run down the road real fast. My favorite movie would have to be Fireproof.
Yeah, I like that too.
Me too, and I have seen that one.
Yeah. Thank you, Caitlin.
Hi, this is Sue from Adams and Brown County, Ohio. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry I was late. I had a change of plans today, but I guess you're asking people their favorite movies?
Yes.
That's hard to choose. I always like Gone with the Wind, but in some respects, but Casablanca, I think, and that's an old movie, you know, but I think that's a real classic.
Clark Gable plays in that.
Now, Clark Gable was in Gone with the Wind. Humphrey
Yeah.
Bogart was
Yeah.
the main star, and Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca. Yeah, it was a World War II era movie. Yeah, but there's a lot of them. It's hard for me to, you know, when you get to be my age, you see a lot of different kinds of movies, and it's just kind of hard to single out one. But those are two that come to my mind.
I'm Kate Holman. I work in Vinton County, Ohio, and whoever's dog is barking in the background, my dog is really.
Oh, it's mine. I'm going to mute myself again. Sorry, I'm at home.
Oh, no, it's okay. It was cute. My dog's like, where is it? My favorite movie is Dan in Real Life. So if you know Steve Carell from The Office, he's the lead in that. It's just kind of a nice laid-back movie.
We just saw that at the holidays at my sister's, and that was a really good movie. Really sweet.
I don't watch it often, but whenever I'm kind of feeling down in the dumps and I want a little pick-me-up, that's the movie I watch.
It was a goodie.
Nice. Thank you, Kate.
Did everyone go?
I think we have a couple of callers. There's someone with a 740 number.
That would be me, Sheila.
Oh, now, okay.
Okay, can you hear me okay now? I'm on the phone,
Yeah.
obviously. The computer system not working too well at all. So I did not hear you invite people, but it sounds like we're telling our favorite movie. I can't remember the name of my favorite movie, so I will pick a couple of others. I heard somebody say Fireproof, and I think that was the start of a bunch of other Christian movies, if I remember correctly. And I can't remember those names either, but some of those I like better than Fireproof. So God is Not Dead, and but aside from that, one of my favorites is Amadeus. So I'll pick Amadeus for right now because I can't remember my real favorite movie.
Okay. Well, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go. And my favorite all-time movie is Wizard of Oz. And I grew up watching Wizard of Oz. I could probably act the whole entire movie out and play every character, I think. Yeah, that is my all-time favorite. And I'm a big Disney fan, but Wizard of Oz was not a Disney movie, but that was my favorite. Yeah. No Place Like Home. Can't hear you, Regina.
So there's no place like home. No place like home.
Yes.
I'll go next. Someone already said my favorite movie, but I have a second runner-up, which is Along Came Polly. It's a romantic comedy. It's Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston. And I saw it at the movies and I went out and bought it. So whenever I'm feeling down and sad, I watch that movie and I just laugh. It is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, Along Came Polly. It's a romantic comedy. It is funny.
Well, speaking of laughing, one that my husband and I watch on and off, we have the DVD, and it's an old 60s movie with about every comedian in it of the time that you could even think of. But it's a mad world. It's just a madcap comedy. And no matter how many times we see it, we you got to laugh a lot. That's something to watch if you're, need a pick me up, because it's funny.
I'm old enough to have seen that at the movie.
What's that?
I'm old enough to have seen that at the movie theater.
Oh, okay.
And like, we had to go some place that had a big, oversized screen. I don't know what it was called, but it was a big deal. We drove for hours to get there.
Was it a drive-in theater?
No, it was in a movie theater.
Okay.
It wasn't one of those Cinerama movies, was it? You remember those, Nell?
That might be it. I don't know, but it was some big screen, and we had to go to Louisville or something to see it.
All right.
I also like War Room, if I can say that. War Room.
That's the one I was.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I like.
Yeah. Yeah. I've watched it a zillion times. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Kevin, can you hear us? Did you want to go?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just waiting my turn. I was a little late. I would really like Amadeus. I think Amadeus is a great film. I think that was a good choice now. And I like It's American World as well. So, there's a movie I watched just because I watched it when I was younger, probably not a good thing, but I watched Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze and all them. I like end of the world movies, like where things just kind of fall apart and then they have to rebuild. I don't know why. I can't think. I don't know what part of my psyche is showing, but that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Hoping that that's not going to come through in our world right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that can end the world in a movie. So that's just kind of one of those. I don't know. And that's really not the end of the world, but it's basically the end of what we know as the United States, that kind of thing. But I just grew up watching it. That's all.
I'll go ahead and share my second favorite movie, and that's Shawshank Redemption. If you've never watched that one, it's excellent. I encourage everyone to watch it. It's an awesome movie.
Yes, it is, Tammy. I agree. Gosh, I feel like we're all going to we need some popcorn or something like that.
What was the name of that last movie again? I couldn't quite understand.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. Thanks.
Excellent. Morgan Freeman. That's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the name of the funny movie that I think Kate mentioned? Dan or something.
Dan in Real Life.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a laugh out loud nonstop comedy, but it's heartwarming, I guess, is a good word for it.
This is great. We're all going to go pick out movies now after we get off.
Yeah, we're all taking notes on the movies.
All right, everybody, I don't know if my little video will play here. I have no sound, but so we want to hear what's going on in your counties, any updates you have to share about how you're continuing to implement programs or are still unable to implement programs. We just want to hear what's been going
on. This is Deborah Cox in Estill County, Kentucky, and I have not started the Facebook gentle yoga yet. I'm having some concern about the feedback that's coming on some of the Facebook stuff, very negative. So my question is, could we do like a private group in Facebook for our gentle yoga?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Do you know how to create a private group, Deborah?
Not really. But create a private group.
Yes. You would, it's like a private page. And I've got a copy of how to do that someplace. And in fact, if you would like me for us to talk, we'll try to get a time that you and I are available, and I can walk you through that if you want
Okay.
to. If that would
sounds
be
good. What I plan to do still yet is do maybe like a little 15-minute sample of what it is, and then put that video on Facebook and tell people if they're interested to either call me or something like that, and then I can invite them to the private group.
right. If they're friends with you already on Facebook, then that's pretty easy. You can just do an invite from there.
I put a video in the chat for Facebook group setups.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Deborah, did you see that there where you can just log on? You can copy that link. Okay. Actually, it's not even letting me copy that. I was trying to copy it, excuse me, Kevin, and it doesn't allow a person to copy it. So,
from the chat, it won't let you.
Right, from the chat.
Okay.
I guess a person could just click on that. But if you'll just send me that link, then I'll send it on to Deborah, and that way we can, we can talk that through and stuff like that.
Could you send that to all of us, Sheila?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Yep, I'll send you that email right away.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have, Debbie Ryan had talked with the director of the Adams County Library in the last couple of weeks and found out for another group that she was trying to do a Zoom meeting for, that they have a paid subscription, and he offered to help them do a meeting. So then she asked, well, could you help the Diabetes Education Coalition do it? And he said, sure. So I talked with him the other day. We're thinking about at some point getting our own subscription, but I'd really like to do a virtual meeting of our coalition in the first week of June, which would be our next regularly scheduled meeting, since we really haven't met other than me sending emails back and forth since early March. So we've set that up with everybody. We're going to do a dry run with a few members next Wednesday morning, just to make sure that all that, everything works out okay before we actually do the meeting on June 3rd. And, we've got a pretty big agenda because we really haven't all connected with each other at the same time since the shutdown. And, I would say through these virtual office hour sessions that I've attended, a lot of ideas have come up in my head as to how we can, actually do some programming, even incorporating some of what we've been doing that came to a halt because of no, close meetings, that we could, like even our diabetes support group, that possibly we could look into doing some of that on Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever. So there's a number of different agenda items that we need to discuss, but I'm excited that at least I've done a couple of Zoom training sessions right off of the Zoom website, and I'm excited that at least we're going to try this. since I haven't done it before. And we can lean on Nick since he's, you know, has done it, and you know, so it's kind of easing me into, I guess you should say, getting more into the virtual world. So we're at least making some progress on moving that way, and I'm really looking forward to reconnecting with people virtually in a couple of weeks. And from polling our members, I think a number of our regular members have been doing Zoom meetings, you know, for other things that they're involved in. So it doesn't seem like most people don't have the capability in terms of, you know, just technologically, and they, you know, they feel pretty comfortable with trying it. So that's good. So that's where we are right now.
So would you be able to send us an invite to participate in that meeting as well?
Oh, sure. Sure. I'll make a note of that. And I'll probably send it out like maybe next week before or right after virtual office hours. Well, we're actually doing the dry run at 3 o'clock next Wednesday. And then if we get everything all sorted out, and I'll go ahead and forward it to you guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
and
thanks.
For everybody as well, if you're having a coalition meeting virtually or via conference call, we love just to participate or listen in. Just let us know when it takes place.
Well, this meeting will be on Wednesday, June 3rd from 8:30 to 10 in the morning. That's the plan anyway. And would you like me, one of the agenda items I had was looking at, you know, possible virtual activities. And I also have down, just to brief the group about the virtual office hours, I've been sending information about it to them every week. But I don't know, would you like to be on the agenda for anything in particular? I'm still amending the agenda because I've asked members if they need to add anything else. So
sure, yeah, you can add us, and we'll determine who's able to meet. We do have some things we could share that are coming down the pipeline.
Okay, and so should I send you and Nell and Sheila and anybody else the link, Kevin, or I mean, how do you want me to do that?
You send it to Sheila.
Yeah, just send it to me.
Okay, and then you'll get it to everybody else? Okay, sounds good. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So I'll add you guys to the agenda too, under new business.
We got Clay County Thursday. So Miss Tammy posted in the chat box. Is there a conference call number, Tammy?
Yes, there is, and I can go ahead and send that invite to Sheila, and she can forward if you like.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sheila, I think you'll get the link automatically now that I think of it. This is Sue again, I'm sorry, because you are in our regular ABDEC member, coalition member list.
Right, and I got the email and all of that about the one next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who's next? Anybody else? What's been going on?
Looks like, yeah, and Kate, are you still on with us? Do you guys have anything that, because this is your first meeting with us, right?
First, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of running into issues where we don't have a lot of internet connectivity. So that's really and then the people who are involved that do have Zoom capability are usually just over Zoom. And so they're not really looking to add more to their plates right now. So I'm interested in learning more about how people are connecting with their, target audience offline. So we have some restrictions being lifted here. So we might be able to, have more face-to-face stuff, not big group meetings, but yeah, I'm just mostly interested in hearing what people are doing face-to-face, or not face-to-face, offline, and still connecting with people. We have some people with Ohio State who are not part of this group, but they, as they were doing Dining with Diabetes, they were actually making phone calls to people. So I know that's one option we have, is to just start, go old-fashioned phone calls with people.
Yeah. Yeah, most of, some of our coalitions, as far as I know, have made some adjustments with, and it's mainly been with Zoom, or it's been with Facebook. One of our coalitions in Southern West Virginia was doing their cooking classes and things like that online.
Yeah.
And, but when there's not good internet connection in your area, that's just and in rural West, in rural areas like we're all in, that's happening to a lot of folks. I heard from Grundy County, Tennessee. Actually, she sent me an email yesterday, and she said, I just wanted to let you know I feel so bad because I've not been on your virtual office hours. And she said, for the last few weeks, and but she did say that they've just been doing so many contacts through this COVID, house case by case, and contacting households, that's just really been such so much for them to do. But she did update me and said that they are making plans. Their coalition is to still continue to do their back to school bash in July. So we're, a little over a month away from that happening. And she said, we're trying to work out all the details, but we can't let the kids and families down.
Yeah.
She said, so we're going to make it work. So she told me she would keep us up to date as to how those plans are coming along. And so I'm very interested in finding out, because many of our coalitions do those very same things. They do these back to school bashes, and it includes a lot of health education and physical activity and different things like that. And then they get, then they all get their backpacks and everything. So I don't know what kind of adjustments they're going to make, but I'm interested in finding out. Kate, do you guys meet by phone at all, like with your community partners? If you can't meet by Zoom or anything, do you just use like a conference call line, or?
We are trying that, yes.
Yeah.
So we used to do that frequently for work before Zoom came around, 4 or 5 years ago. So it has its challenges, but it's definitely doable, and it's a good way to connect a lot of people all at once.
Yeah. Rita, I'm wondering if there's anything, is there anything that you guys have that's going on for the Kentucky coalitions, or any information, or has COVID just really tied you all up?
Excuse me, I'm on my phone right now. I had to step out away from my computer. There may be a little background noise. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. yeah, our department is very focused on COVID. I have a lot of it is volunteer, and some of the folks in my program are very heavily involved, and some not so. I'm not terribly involved in that, but a lot of the people that work with coalitions, especially with the health,
I'm having trouble
tracking
hearing
cases,
you
that kind
down.
of thing.
It
So
would be
it varies. But we have been working, we had started doing some telehealth, diabetes self-management education and support, and the diabetes prevention program through the, through the health departments, with some involvement with some coalitions and prior to this, but we have really are ramping that up a little bit more quickly. And so in the eastern part of the state, we are, let's see, Jason at the Gateway District Health Department. I know they used to have an Appalachian coalition grant in one of their counties, West Liberty, but I don't believe they're real active right now. Are they?
With Morgan, Kentucky, they're active, but I'm not aware that they're doing the NDPP or DSME.
Well, anyway, the health department is going to be one of the presenters for the virtual Diabetes Self-Management Education and Support out of the Gateway District Health Department. And that's something that, and Jamie Lee is doing a lot of that right now. So we're making that available to people all over the state, and could be available to individuals in communities that you all work with in Kentucky. They can virtually join that kind of a class. As far, excuse me.
I'm sorry, Rita. I was just, could you send us that information so that I can pass that along to our Kentucky coalitions? I know that Harlan County is part of Jamie. Jamie's been working with them for a while now. In Harlan, Kentucky. So
yes, and they've done at least 2 series of. They were like people came on site, and one was in last spring and one was in October, I believe, last year. But now they have some availability through the telehealth function. But anyway, some people can feel comfortable with that, and some don't. But yes, I'll be glad to send you that information. And I'll try to remember as we get a little bit more. Like I said, we're making regional. I think there's going to be 4 people that are helping with facilitating those, to make those classes available ongoing, that people can join from all over the state, which was the quickest way to ramp it up to make that service available. DPP is being done more by individual organizations, and some of them are very open to having additional people join as well from other regions, but they don't have their paperwork and all their approvals and all that kind of stuff worked out as well for people in the distance. But anyway, just as you've been talking about, I've been hearing quite a bit about coalitions, changing their meetings to virtual meetings. And I know the funds that we provide for a few coalitions in our state, we have suggested that if you have funds available, that's certainly a good way to make use of them. So any money from, whether it's from our state funds to local health departments or from federal funds, they can be free to use it for conference call lines, for Zoom accounts, or GoToWebinar, or any of those different platforms.
Thank you.
Was that Rita? Thanks, Rita.
Yes.
I do want to talk a little bit about things your coalition can do to promote national health observances. And I have a list of resources where you can find these. I'd like to highlight at least one national health observance every month in our newsletter. And these are just some options for May, even though we're halfway through May. You can always relate it back to something that's happening in your community. You can connect it to diabetes. Most of these health conditions, people who are living with diabetes would be at risk for other comorbidities or co-illnesses, like at risk for increased risk for stroke, or at risk for increased risk of depression. Of course, we can always relate physical activity and increasing our level of physical activity to decreasing our risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And then World No Tobacco Day is on May 31st, so you can always plan around health observances if you're looking for something to highlight in your community. It may be something you're already doing, or it may be something you want to start doing. You can just be like your community niche if you haven't done something already, just to bring awareness to a specific health observance and connect that back to diabetes or in living healthy and being safe and connected to community. For June, these are just some examples. Men's Health Month. We got one man on here, Kevin. We know men don't like to go to the doctor. They procrastinate. So anything we can do to bring awareness to men's health and the importance of prevention. I'm always going to talk about prevention instead of treatment. If we can, I'm gonna say like Barney Fife, nip it in the bud, get your bud nippers out and nip it in the bud before it becomes a problem, a bigger problem. Then we know that saves money, it saves time, it saves quality of life. So absolutely promoting Men's Health Month. And then there's some few others down there. Family Health and Fitness Day, June 13th. You might want to organize a virtual walk or run. We talked about that on our very first couple of webinars about virtual walks, virtual runs, where people can still participate in physical activity as a community, but do it separately. So that might be a way to engage community members in physical activity, but not actually being in person. National Safety Month. We got a lot of people riding bicycles. I have a cousin who her whole family every day she's posting how many miles she's riding on her bicycle. So people are out doing more physical activity because they're at home more. So that'll be a great thing. If you're riding a bicycle, you should be wearing a helmet. You should have on safety gear. I see a lot of people not wearing it. So promoting bicycle safety. And then some resources where you can find out what's going on every month, the National Health Observances. There's the Centers for Disease Control. They have a list on there, the National Network of Libraries of Medicine, health.gov. The most comprehensive one that I found that included almost all of the health observances was Healthline. And then on these specific resources, they have links to the American Stroke Association or the Office of Minority Health, where you can click on a link. And most of the time, if it's a government-sponsored site, they have social media kits, where if you have a social media page where you can just copy the tweets that they've already generated. They have infographics they've already created, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. You're just using their social media kits to promote whatever health observance topic it is. So these are great resources just to use to just bring awareness to national health observances, but relate it back to what's going on in your community as well. And so I'm always going to talk about this every time we have our virtual office hours. We are here to help you. We are a resource for you. So some things that we are offering, gentle yoga refresher for leaders via distance learning or Zoom. If you have leaders, they've been trained already in gentle yoga, we can absolutely do a refresher course for them. It's a good time to improve skills or refresh skills. We know we have different states that are reopening, so it's a good time to get prepared to go back in the field and engage our participants, our consumers. Coalition data reports. So every county has a coalition profile. This is something that you can use with your coalition members or your funders. So one-page report that just summarizes what your coalition has accomplished over the last 2 to 3 years. So we can absolutely provide those to you to use at your discretion. We can provide basic Zoom training. So Kevin's on the line. I'm here if you need one-on-one support or you just want to know more about how to work Zoom, how to get through a coalition meeting, how to promote a particular program, whether it's gentle yoga or DPP. We can absolutely set that up for you. Newsletter assistance is a great time to you want to keep in contact with the people you've been engaging. So how can you retain them? You don't want to lose them. You want to keep them engaged and let them know that we're still here, we're still working. So you want to let them know what's going on and what's coming down the pipe, what's upcoming. You can keep them informed and let them know when you're ready to, implement new programs and activities. Facebook promotion, if you have social media. I'm gonna say Sheila's the expert on Facebook. But we all do some type of Facebook engagement, whether it's Facebook Live or how to schedule posts on your Facebook, how to get people more involved and let them know what's going on. So those are just some examples of support that we can provide to you. And here is our team with our contact information. Everybody knows Sheila, so send all your information to Sheila and she'll get it out to who it needs to go to. Absolutely, Kevin is our tech guru if you're having any issues or have any questions with tech support. He's always available, and well, not always available. You gotta get on his schedule. I would say that. Get on his schedule. And then last but not least, do we have any questions? Let me see if this one works. Yeah, some closing our laptops. Anything else you want to talk about? Questions?
This is Regina.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering if, I was just thinking about promoting gardening, planting a garden and that kind of stuff at this particular time. It seems like a very good time to be, even though you couldn't be out doing a community garden together. But I wonder if any of the coalitions have done any kind of a campaign to encourage people to do gardening and given them any resources related to that kind of thing.
Yes, actually we had a coalition, I can't remember which coalition, that actually gave out, had a drive-through gardening seminar where they gave out gardening supplies and tomato plants. They had 50 people come.
Yeah.
Great.
That was Wayne County, Kentucky.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, Alta-Gay Hutchinson. And that's a good point, Rita, that I'm glad you brought that up, because that may be something that that might be at one of our topics, and maybe Alta-Gay might want to kind of be our speaker or something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that? And Sue, you have a lot of experience too. Your coalition does with gardening and things like that too.
Well, I think I mentioned last time, you know, we started a community garden partially through our Marshall support a number of years ago. Actually, it was 6 years ago as I'm thinking of it. And we've always had problems with recruiting enough participants, interestingly enough, even when we doubled the size of the raised beds. And this year, at last conversation with our gardening coordinator, Julie, they have all of the beds committed, plus the area that they till up extra in the back of the garden. So, and I think part of it is that people are interested in growing their own produce with, you know, the virus and questions about food supplies and so on. And also, you know, she started a small program in the summertime for with kids, you know, kids of need in the community. They'd come twice a week and they made connections with parents or guardians or whatever. And I think that's helped to promote the regular garden, you know, adult thing more as well. So, you know, how they say adoption, you have early adopters and then it takes a while before sometimes a new thing really catches on. And I don't know if it's just that that's part of it too, but the timing. But, and honestly, it's one of those deals, I don't know, she's kind of waiting to see what happens with the children's component because that's a group thing. But as far as the community gardeners go, you know, people pretty much know the rules, but you know, if they keep their distance, and that's not hard to do there because of the way the beds are laid out, and everybody had, it's you know, they're going ahead and doing that since it's outdoors and they can keep their distance and so on. So anyway, but I could talk to Julie at some point. She's Ohio State University Extension Master Gardener. She's been trained in that. So maybe, you know, sometime I can kind of pick her brain on that too. She's always interested in doing some other things, so.
Can't hear you, Regina.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's a great, excellent topic for us to talk about in the future, maybe next time, gardening and how to do gardening using social distancing or distance learning, Zoom. There are several different ways you can promote gardening, community gardening that is less or no contact. So I like that topic, especially since there's a demand for it. And just like Sue said, all the raised beds, there's none left. They've all been committed, and people are more interested. And just like with Wayne County, 50 people came through the drive-through. That's a lot of people. I mean, ELD community health programs, that's a lot of people for one program. And so there's a high demand for it. So you want to meet the demand. If people are interested in it and it's within our scope of work, absolutely, you want to meet the demand. So if gardening is what people into, they're into, you know, being outside, it's physical activity and it's promoting nutrition as well. You make a competition out of it.
One of our coalition members is with the Clay County Extension Office, and she would love to do something like that. That falls right in with what we could do here.
That's great, Tim. Great.
If we're going to do something on gardening, I agree we should do it like ASAP because we're getting, you know, we're right into the heart of it now of trying to get things out, although the weather's been so crazy this spring that we're in the middle of a monsoon. Yeah, we had 2 to 3 inches of rain yesterday, and glad I didn't plant my seeds yet.
Me too. It's chilly.
It is cold today.
Yes.
But it would be a timely thing, I would say, you know.
I've heard people that are having gardens that have never had gardens for years, just got at their own home, just because they have a little more time. They've been at home more, and hopefully if we can encourage them in that way, they'll want to stick with it. Even when life gets a little busier again, possibly.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a big traditional garden either. They have so many, you know, there's so many different planting ideas now for container planting and grow boxes and straw bale gardening and all those kinds of things. You know, things that maybe aren't quite as labor intensive as putting out the old family garden, as far as, you know, all the bending over and all the weeding and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it now. So anyway.
Yeah, profiling that to people could be very, very helpful to them to spark ideas.
Absolutely. And then herbs, you can do a little herb garden right in your kitchen window.
Yep, I already harvested some kale this week from my little container garden.
I'm cutting kale that I planted last fall in a raised bed. And it got it through the winter and it's still going. I hate to dig it up. You know, once it gets really hot, it won't do very well, but.
Yep. I did have to cover mine up because of frost, but it survived.
But that's another topic of interest if you're talking about gardening, because sometimes people aren't familiar with some of the different kind of veggies, you know, and what's better for this time of the year versus fall, or so that might be something to think about too.
Yes.
It seems like there's a lot of organizations that hand out free seeds too. Like I got a pack of seeds this year for like at least 3 different vegetables, just because I found a program online that was just handing out seeds. That might be something we can tie in there.
That'd be good. That'd be helpful to know. Yeah.
And then I'll send you what I have that was sent to me. Also, if first-time gardeners seem to always have trouble differentiating, you know, figuring out what is a weed and what is the actual plant popping up if they're doing it like, you know, in the ground. That would probably be the most helpful. There's also a couple of phone apps. One I have on my phone now. I just need to pull it up here. Let's see. There's a phone app that you can figure out what kind of plant you're looking at. I think it's called Picture This.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a picture of it. It's really neat.
Yeah.
Does it work? Because I keep seeing it advertised.
Yeah. It's not free. So it's $4.99 a month. I mean, if you do it a lot, but there's the free trial if you just need it in a pinch, I mean, you could use it for the free trial. And if you're just trying to figure out one plant, and then just delete the app. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. I was just trying to figure out what kind of plant was popping up through my hydrangea out front. It just turns out that the tree that is quite a ways away has roots equally as big on top as it does below. So there are some root branches popping up through the ground and trying to take my hydrangea's water. So
I like your friend Kevin. He looks a little stressed, but
it's one of the few pictures of Amadeus I could find on there that basically spells it out. But yeah. Yeah, I forgot how much I liked that movie. I'm glad you brought it up now.
I also like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Real good movie.
Yeah.
Well, The Notebook, if you ever want a tearjerker, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't really like tearjerkers though, but it is a good movie. So. Well, I gotta leave, so I'll talk to you all later.
All right, Nell.
Okay, well, we're almost at the end. We're almost out of time anyway. It's almost 1 o'clock. Does anyone have anything else they would like to share? We talked about a lot of things today. We talked about what we're all doing or what we feel we can do. As things start to open up, we talked about gardening and the need to talk about that more on how coalitions can do different types of activities around gardening, the drive-up gardening, the container gardening, giving community members more education about how to garden, especially for beginners. We talked about mobile apps to help people. We talked about seeds, seedlings, anything that I missed. We talked about resources available to help you and your coalition members.
Oh, I do have something. Regina, will you send us the link for the Zoom recording? So then I can share that with everybody.
Yes, ma'am, I certainly will.
Great. Okay.
And if we don't have anything else, we certainly appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to join us for virtual office hours, and we will see you next week. If you have any questions, I'm gonna go back to that slide with our contact information. Please feel free to reach out to